Freaky fun for everyone. Sold
Leonardo, the katana blade.
Attack the evil Inhumanoid, forcing him back into the earth.
Hey, the name's Boglins. You sold separately.
We battle our human and skeletal each soul separately. You put them out together.
Turn them into the light, and they change into even more powerful.
Battle against Lion-O and the new Thundercat ally.
What's up, my friends? Welcome to the Waffle Mafia Podcast. I'm Aaron Johnson. I am here to do your weekly Waffle Mafia wrap up. See what's going on in Waffle Mafia, what's going down this week. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thanks for coming for the podcast. As y'all know, if you get into podcast, get a free spot this week on the upcoming wheel. Like to start her out with the old pause for the cause. Let's get it, y'all. So, as I said, I want to see a Rattler. Nick Abate, absolutely amazed by Rattler this past week. That's awesome, man. We love it when people find stuff they ain't know about. You ain't know about some Rattler, man. You know about that neck springing out to jack you up, son. Yeah, what's up, Samisha Mack? What's going on, my squirrel? Cristobal Dabila, appreciate you being in. What's up, Danny Mayonnaise? And like we said, and y'all know how it plays, anybody who gets in on the podcast, you get a free spot on the wheel. So, Mr. Abate, you are in for tomorrow night for Thirsty Thursday. Your name will be on the wheel. Chance to win Stinkor. So, anytime that we talk about a figure on the podcast, we end up talking about doing that figure for Thirsty Thursday. So, very cool. Going to do some Stinkor for Thirsty Thursday. Let's get this camera situation is all jacked up. Here we go. That's a little bit better, yo. Now y'all don't have to stare directly at my ugly mug. We got plenty of other things to look at in here. Smells so bad in here, man. Y'all missed it. I broke out the gas mask for the beginning of the podcast since this week is Stinkor, and we're going to talk about the skunk man himself, good old Stinkor. Do a little discussion on him. Of course, we'll do our weekly Waffle Wrap Up, talk about things been going on in the Waffle Mafia this week. Do a little recap of everything we did this past week. Got a shipping update. It's shipped. Hey, might get there before Christmas. I don't know, guys. Kind of doubt it. The way the mail is right now, it's really doubtful. But at least everything is on the way. Let's throw down some Stinkor knowledge tonight. That's what we're going to do. What up, Mr. Z? What do you know? Mr. Magnus Vermags, what's happening, my bro? I got a little nice, I know you guys saw the picture I posted over in MPA, but killer gif from John and Cassandra. Of course, Johnny Miz, my partner, my brother from another mother, over at Most Powerful Waffles, Most Powerful Auctions, eBay.com. If you guys have ever heard of that, be sure to check out eBay.com. That's he-bay.com. You need help finding it? Go to Most Powerful Auctions, man. That's where it be. And this little mug just a little too short for me. Well, I had to put my big tall boys up in it. And here we go. A little pause for the cause there, bro. So, thank you guys for joining me. Thanks, JD. I didn't really have, I guess, the most practical use for the mug. I do drink coffee occasionally when I'm out of beer, but other than that, or I guess when I'm at work, I have to say that, right? But you guys are looking for something nice to pick up for me for Christmas, a nice concealed flask or hidden container would eliminate that problem entirely. So Johnny Miz has that logo plastered everywhere. You know what it is, Dutchie? I don't know. I don't typically go outside of Masters when we're talking on the podcast, but Spaceballs, you had Spaceballs, the toilet paper, Spaceballs that, we've already had that. We've had the Waffle Mafia toilet paper that David Carbulka gave away over at Lord of Destruction Waffles for our Christmas Toys for Tots waffles, so that was pretty cool. Some ass wipe got some ass wipes, so there you go. Let's pause for the calls with it, bro. You know what that sound means. It's time to get it on. So, let's talk about it. Let's talk about what all's happened this past week. Of course, you guys saw the information about She-Ra, that new animated series coming to Netflix. Netflix picked it up. The lady who is behind the series, or behind getting the series rebooted, she's also doing the voice of She-Ra, so that's pretty cool. A lot of really interesting things about that. I know that the animation piece that we got wasn't, it actually wasn't colored. Someone went in and did some color to it and made it look kind of cool. But, we don't know for sure yet. We don't know exactly what we're going to get. We do know that is one of the animation cells that's being used. What's up there, Curtis Rains? Mr. Rains down. Curtis Lowe, what's going on, my buddy? Are those other cans props, or have you smashed those? These have full. Wait, let's go. Empty. Full, empty, full, now empty, now full. So, I've only smashed 3, I think. But that's been while I was getting ready for the podcast. So, here in a minute, cheeks will light up and we'll get it underway. My liver says it's going to give up one day. A little pause for the cause. For y'all's that's playing along. Let's see what we got. We're talking about She-Ra. So, the new animated series coming to Netflix. We don't necessarily have an exact release date and all that good stuff, but the animation cells that we saw, just one cell, just one scene, kind of give us an idea of what the animation is going to be like. Some people are a fan of it, some people are not. Personally, I think, given the audience that it's being targeted to, I think they're pretty much on point with that. What's up, God Waffler? We pause in reverence for the God Waffler, and we'll pause again, because that is David Carbulka, my friends. He is the Lord over at the Lord of Destructions, the Lord of the Waffle Mafia as well. He said, dude, thanks for stopping in, man. You know what it be. But we were talking a little bit about that girl of She. So, old She-Ra is going to be coming back to Netflix. That is very promising, guys. I don't care, like the animation or don't. The fact that we're going to be getting that Netflix saw a profitability in it, saw the fact that this would be targeted to girls and to young girls, and sort of drive that again. May push She-Ra back to retail. We don't even know. So, a lot of possibilities, a lot of exciting things, and a nice buzz going around the community as far as that She-Ra stuff happening. So, that's pretty cool. Of course, I know, you guys are like me. We're focused on what's coming for the man of He. And as of right now, I guess movie is the only thing that is underway. 16 years, 17 years, I don't know. Joe updates the meme once a year, but a little shout out to Joe Amato over at Fans of Power. Joe's kept a running meme going with the movie for quite some time, so it's that Batman smacking Robin, but I don't know, guys. I don't know if it's ever going to happen. I don't know that we want it to happen with who's got their hands on it. But as far as writing, it's very interesting who they've brought Goyer in as a director, or as a writer director. So there's some interesting things going on there. I think this is why the Super 7 5.5 is on hold. Magnus, I agree, because if you watch that same Super 7 podcast or Supercast that they do, Brian Flynn had touched on that, and then I know in the conversation with Joe Amato and Tyler Baker over at Fans of Power, he did sort of touch on the fact that, or made it sound as if everything was flowing very smoothly as far as the 5.5s, and then the next thing you know, we might go back to retail. It would make sense in my mind that that particular She-Ra that we saw, resculpt, redo, 5.5, bam, make it match what the new cartoon is. The Voltron stuff really popped off for Netflix, so it's one of those things, man. I'm excited about it too, Dutchie. I can't wait to check it out. It's definitely something I want to see. What up, Artemis Prime? What's going on? My friend Cully Culps, he jumped in. Dutchie, yep, we were talking to you. So let's get it. Do a little recap too. No really other major big news this week. I don't think I've seen anything. I did see a few of those pops going out. So I don't know, are the pops, Cassandra could probably answer this because she got a hold of some. I know that she ordered hers, but as far as the new line of pop figures, I don't know when those are actually supposed to release. However, I know that Cassandra had some of those, which was very interesting, and spoke to my local comic guy. He said, man, they've not even shipped yet. I said, my girl's got her hands on them. He said, no way. I said, yes way, bitch, let me show you. Flipped my phone around, showed him the pictures. He said, I need to know what's going on. So, Cassandra, your wanted girl. My local comic guy's upset. You got yours before him. He orders directly from Funko. Let's have a pause for the cause. Mouth's getting dry, yo. Hello, Johnny Mystery. Thanks for jumping in. Good to see you, my friend. A few people have them. December was the date. I think a few people are scoring them, but they aren't at all the pre-order sites yet. Yeah, that's kind of interesting, Cullen, because he did, and I know for a fact he did direct order from Funko, so, he really was kind of upset at the fact that somebody had beaten him to retail. I was like, man, that kind of stuff happens as far as it could have leaked out, could have went out a little bit early, some other retailer could have got it early, but, whatever it be. It won't be long. We'll have them, you see. So, a few folks have already got their hands on those. If you guys haven't seen those, it's the new wave of Funko Pops that are out there. Those things are very awesome. What's up, Honesty Cook? The truth in the way. She's in the room. And that's what it be. And we'll have a little pause for the cause for old Honesty C. We're talking a little bit of Stinkor tonight, but before we do, I got a little waffle wrap up for you. So, I'm going to do a little rundown. I wrote them down as I shipped them out. I have no idea, really what night some of this stuff happened on. I mean, I don't know if you guys know this or not about me, but I drink. I have been known to have a beer. But it's all good, man, and here's what it be. A little rundown from old Thirsty Thursday. So Thirsty Thursday, we did a double down. Super 7 Skelett went out to Mr. Chris Hummel, the Candyman can. Did a Buzz Off Classics for Mr. Colin Culps. Did a Buzz On for old Dutchie. Super 7 Ultimate Skeletor went to Zertoosh. He-Man and the Insect People with Bug Zapper Buzz Off. That's going out to Dano. So Dano, thinking about you, my friend. This podcast, of course, I had you in mind since you're Army building old Stinkor, and he's kind of your dude right now. But also thinking about you, man, because you may have two new members of the Mafia on the way. So we're waiting on Dano and Kim to have those babies. So prayers for you, man. Thoughts with you. You know how that be. Always thinking about you, man. So let's see. keep on running her down. Conan the Barbarian went out to Maynor, Savage Sword of Conan, Travie Wills, Waffle Mafia sticker, Derek Brown, Fisto. Oh, man, we did a Fisto this past week. Broke some hearts. Kelshaw McGraw, you about the most hated man on the planet right now. Man-at-Arms Custom did that for old Stevie Alphabet. Man-at-Arms Dorbs going out to the Gunkinator, Tony Gontana. Let's see, we got Stratos Red Pack going out to Fafard and Away. Ratlore, Mr. Abate, a Ratlore, and we did that in your honor, Mr. Abate. Nick Abate asked a question about a Ratlore. He was amazed, shocked and amazed by the Ratlore. It's these younger generations of guys, man. I tell you what, Mr. Abate, he is, I'm living vicariously through Nick. Nick is a young playboy who, he's got all the swag, guys. He does what he do, and he loves himself some masters, too. He's learning about them. He's finding out who they are. So, he got himself a red Ratlore. So, oh, Ratlore, we didn't honor you this past week, Mr. Bate. Shout out to you, good sir. Mega Constructs He-Man Skelly went out to back the fuck up, man. Did the sad He-Man comic, also to Dano, Waffle Mafia sticker to Fafard. Did a puzzle for the Double Down little whiles back. So this is all the stuff that shipped. So everything's finally on its way. But the puzzle was a beautiful puzzle. Has that killer artwork, the really funky, strange kind of artwork on the front of it. That went out to Jakey B. So Jakey B, you'll have to share a picture of that when you get that done. Cyclone out to Honesty. Hordak Loose Complete to Cully Cups. Eternity War Destiny of Doom out to Mr. Hummel. Keldor to Jeremiah Jensen. Masters number 4 DC to Curtis Lowe. Trapjaw and Trapjaw and Trapjaw out to Hummel. Hummel. That's a Hummel if you're nasty. We got Clash of Arms, Fisto and a Respin. We spun for Fisto and Stridor about 27 times, and so I'd done run out of things that rhymes. Imagine that. Let's have a pause for the cause. That's where it's at. That is the killer koozie, ain't it? I appreciate that, Mr. Itis. Thank you, sir. Good to see you, John Itis. Mr. Scareglow's in the room. Good to have you as well. We also did a He-Man Ultimate, and that was what Mr. Goosey Goose took. So Goosey Goose took the Ultimate He-Man. So, with that said, that's our weekly Waffle Wrap-Up. That now is done, and we got to move it on over to the Stinkor, son. I did it as fast as I could tonight, and we got 9 minutes left, man. That's better than how we've been doing. It's normally been 5, and in the time I'm a-ruining. So, guys, tomorrow night, this is what it be. We talk about old Stinkor, you see. Now, he looks absolutely beautiful, but check this out. Whoop. Somebody had a cage and done let him out. So he is loose complete, but he does come with his beautiful packaging, and he does have his box as well. So good old Stinkor. We'll talk about him tomorrow night, and we'll see him again tomorrow night when he jumps in here and puts up a fight, and somebody takes him home, and some other people cry, and leaves you asking, oh why, oh why. That's how I am every time I lose a waffle. Y'all, I still play. If hell David does a mega, I'll jump in there and lose with the best of them. I don't mind. They done give me my name. All that luck is gone. Lucky Legends. That was a long time ago. So I'd like to knock me out another mega waffle, man. That would make my day. But that's what it is, and that's why we play. So pause for the cause. Let's get it in. And if y'all ain't ever seen this before, it's eBay, my friends. I know you all have never seen this logo. Not once, not twice. Screw Carbulka and his wheel. That's what I'm screaming, Max. 2 weeks have been pretty hard to watch the wheel. What I understand, man, it's been painful for me. Shit, they get to live on my shelf for a minute. I get so super attached to them. I come in, I talk to them. Sometimes we have coffee together. Sometimes, you know, they live in my office. But then I have to give them away. And that's the crappy part. I mean, you know, sometimes you guys probably wonder, like, why is shipping taking a minute? I'm still playing with them. I'm sorry. I'm just kidding, guys. Like leaving a baby at the orphanage last week. Yeah, man, that's what it was. I tell you what, man, it was that Fisto, son. It about broke my heart. It broke my heart to have a Fisto in my hand, but I got it for y'all, man. So it was totally fine. It was perfectly cool, but boy, did that big old metal glove make you drool. I tell you what, that is one of the most beautiful figures, man. What's up, Mr. Poppy? What's going on? Mr. Poppy, take your time shipping, homie. Thank you, sir. I appreciate that. Mr. Poppy, what do I owe you? Because I feel like in you saying that, I must owe you something that I just don't even know. I probably do, bro. Actually, I am looking for, who do I owe a drag store to? Can somebody clear that? It might be Cristobal to be. Not quite sure, but he's over here, you see. And I don't know if you guys have ever tried to go back and watch a Waffle recap or a Waffle replay, but good Lord, guys, we got to get it back to when it was like 20 minutes in the beginning. I'm totally down for that. Let's get it back to 20 minutes on a Waffle. Let's knock this some bitch out and get out of here. You know how many beers I can drink in 20 minutes? If we do the math from last week's podcast, just ask my liver. He went and got a calculator because it got rough in here last week. That's what it be. Okay, stop talking, Johnson. You got 5 minutes, you see. You got to talk about old Stinkor 5 minutes, and that's what it is. Dougie Fresh. You and mayonnaise. I love it, man. Maynor's always trying to get me to send him a mint on card Shadow Weaver. You know, that one that he won a while back. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's get it in. Let's talk Stinkor, my friend. I can get through it pretty quick. I promise you that. He's not a fish or a cat. He's actually old Stinkor. And here's who he be. This is the vintage Stinkor. You see, I know you guys know who I'm talking about. Dan Rice needs to win that Stinkor, man. He's doing a little army building. That's a little shout out to Dano, OG, Mr. Rice, you see. The Evil Master of Odors, man. 1985 Evil Master of Odors. Stinkor really doesn't, as far as monikers or things that they put on him, he doesn't have the multiple names like a lot of other folks do. A lot of the other characters have 3, 4, 5 different sort of titles that have been placed on them. Stinkor, man, it was just bad enough. He was the Evil Master of Odors, and that's what it be. Evil Humanoid Skunk Warrior. He was released alongside Mossman, Too Bad, Cyclone, and Roboto. So when Roboto, Cyclone, Mossman, Too Bad, all those cats came out, that is when Stinkor come along with them. Now, Stinkor was one of, and I think we talked about it last week on the podcast, but Stinkor was one of those figures that was released with only a shield. So his actual weapon was the shield. What up, E-Daddy? E-Daddy's in the room. What's happening, my friend? So he was one of those figures that was released with only a shield, not necessarily a weapon. Now, you can say that the stench is his weapon, and that's what it is. Guys, that's what it was. They marketed it to kids. So, like Faker, now this is very interesting about, what's up, Dicto Slayo? What's happening, my friend? Dictor, Mr. Combest in the room. Like Faker, Stinkor is comprised of completely reused parts, and that's very interesting for this particular figure because of when he came out. But he is comprised of complete part reuse all the way. So if you look closely, you see these hands. We recognize the hands. This is actually a Skeletor arm. We have a Skeletor hand here. Over here, boots, we have this Skelly boots. But this guy really profited from the repaint the way that some figures did, but none I really think that came off quite as completely different character as Stinkor. So for those who don't know, he is a Merman repaint. So there's Merman's head. We have Mechanix armor piece that I now cannot get loose. There we go. So you have the chest piece or the armor piece for Mechanix with the orange repaint, and of course Stinkor. So he was repainted to match the skunk look. Of course, this is ye old Merman head, so that's pretty cool. Interesting thing, the shield that he came with was also parts reuse. It is the shield from Castle Grayskull, so it's just a blue shield. Another thing that I found out that I thought was super interesting, and I didn't know this, he actually, in a different version, well, we'll talk about that in a minute. Another thing that's interesting to me, he actually is a repaint on the gloves. He and Ninjor are the only two figures in the line that got the glove repaint. So he actually has gloves. It really sets the arm off and makes it look like a completely different sculpt for the arm, but it really isn't. The cross-cell art that he originally came out with indicated that he was supposed to use Beastman's body. So, really interesting that Beastman's body was going to be the use for Stinkor. So, there is out there on the interwebs, if you guys dig around, there is a picture that somebody did where they painted a Beastman body. Of course, he has the Stinkor head, but they painted a Beastman body to match that, to kind of show what he looks like. Isn't there a variant that came with a blue He-Man shield? Yes, sir, there is. I'm going to talk about that in just a second, Curtis Lee Raines. If you remember just a second ago, I kind of had this strange little pause because I was like, I want to talk about that shield, but I won't talk about it just yet. But we talk about it now, man. So, yeah, so there is a variant that came, let's flip her over here. Let's get right over here. We're going to talk about him and what he was. His name was Puantar. Puantar le Demon des Odors. No, Johnson, stop. We've got Puantar le Demon des Odors. That's my most terrible French ever. But on the French version of Stinkor in Vintage, he actually came with a blue and orange He-Man shield. So very cool, man. It's a variant that's out there. If you guys, I know that some of you guys really like to get into that vintage stuff and like to collect those variants. So there actually is a Puantar Le Demon des Odors that comes with that shield. So, man, that's really cool. What's up, Sugar Mama P? Sugar Mama P's in the room. Sugar Mama P, I'll show you. We found a great use for this mug. Pause for the cause there, son. All right, so on through it. We're 2 minutes over already. I'm going to get my ass beat. It was suggested in Tom Art's Action Figure Digest 2002 that he started out as a stink bug type figure, much like the Bug Off that we talked about last week. So, if you caught last week's podcast, we talked about Buzz Off, but his original concept started as Bug Off. Now, interestingly enough, with Stinkor, there was some original artwork done in this particular number 202 in Tom Art's Digest, showing a depiction of Stinkor as sort of a beetle, a stink bug, if you will. Had the long wings, had the hard armored body. Sounded a lot like the Bug Off that we talked about last week, but that never came to light. It has been suggested that they put patchouli oil in the mix, into the plastic. Mattel hasn't necessarily confirmed that it was patchouli oil, but all sources and everybody believes, and all the indicators point to the fact that that's what it was. So, good old Stinkor had that lovely smell. that was some patchouli oil mixed into the plastic when the figure was actually being made. So that's why, even 30 years down the line, we can still smell this old skunky friend of mine. We got, on the card back, twist the waist, make him swing his battle shield. Not a whole lot of complicated stuff with Stinkor as far as the shield goes, or his action feature. It was basically just a swing at the waist, and that was really about it. Card back artwork featured Battle Armor He-Man. Interestingly enough, it was not done by Earl McCarthy, so he did not do the card back artwork for Stinkor, although he did do a couple of those official cross-sell art or concept cross-sell art pieces. So those Earl McCarthy did do some of those. Stinkor's been featured in several gift packs. He was in a 3-pack that had Whiplash, Webstore, and Stinkor. There's also a 3-pack with Battle Armor, Skeletor, and Webstore. And then we had a JCPenney 2-pack that was him and Spikor. He's been a stamp. He's been a zipper clip, which is kind of cool. I don't know if you guys remember those from school. Like way back when, I had a Skeletor zipper clip, and that way when bullies beat my ass, they could help me zip up my jacket a little easier and take my lunch money. But either way, man, that zipper clip was styling, man. You were cool. Came with he came with the Stench of Evil mini. It was also packaged with Moss Man. So you've got Stinkor, you got Moss Man. They were both packaged with the same mini. Obviously, Stench of Evil, Moss Man is able to stop Stinkor. Stinkor is able to use his stench, so the mini comic worked for both. Let's see. He was also featured in Hordak, The Ruthless Leader's Revenge. He's focused on a little bit in a Golden Book, which is kind of cool. He had his own story, He-Man Smells Trouble. We've gave that one away before in those old school Golden Books. So if you guys ever run across those things are awesome. The artwork, it's a little off in some of the Golden Books, but still a very cool story, because in the story he befriends Roboto, which is really odd. He leaves Snake Mountain, Roboto leaves the palace, they make friends. It's really strange. Of course, Roboto being a robot, can't really tell what his friend smells like, so I guess that's why they're hanging out. In that story, he had a stink ray, which is very interesting because he was featured with a stink ray. Was also very cool, and Curtis Lowe, I don't know if you know this or not, but in that UK magazine, he's actually featured with Zodak's gun, which is really weird, but it was in issue 65 of the Motu UK mags, and it features him with Zodak's gun, so that's really killer. He's been featured on the package art for Eternia. He is, and this is very interesting, he is the only character released between 1982 and 1985 that did not make it into Filmation. So we never actually got a Filmation version of Stinkor, which would have been pretty cool. But we are suspecting that the reason that Stinkor never made it into Filmation was that the folks who were on the panel, that were the writers that were sitting down putting things together, they did not want a walk-in joke. So the idea was too many fart jokes, didn't want to do it, and so just did not include him at all. He was voted down immediately in being a part of the Filmation series, which kind of sucks, man, because Stinkor, in my personal opinion, I've always thought him to be a very formidable foe, at least in how he's portrayed in the mini comics. And then when we got into 2002 and the Mike Young Productions, they really just ramped it up, by 1,000% with Oedipus. We got a bit of a backstory. He was I think it's called a Pelesian. He was of the Pelesian race, a small race of furry little creatures that his name was Oedipus. He betrayed his people. There was a bit of an explosion in Triclops' lab when he messed with some things he shouldn't have. Big explosion caused him to be Stinkor, and we got it from there. He was very formidable. He had these he could spray, the stink from his hands. And so very, very cool portrayal to Mike Young Productions. They gave him a little bit of story that made him super badass. So Stinkor, very cool figure. As far as vintage goes, if you can find one that still smells, that's badass. Also, there are different versions of him out there. There's the Stactions version out there. I don't know if there's a mini bust or not. I don't think I've seen that. But we also have the vintage figure, the 2000 X figure. What other versions? Of course, the Classics version. Classics stepped in, gave him, follow along the same background, gave him the backstory as Oedipus, so that was pretty cool too. Let's see, what else have we got? Other than that, the only really things the things that really stuck out to me that I wanted to share with you guys, he was featured in a German audio play, and it was interesting because he brought Battle Bones, he actually defeated the Heroic Warriors and brought Battle Bones to Skeletor at Snake Mountain, but Skelly still wouldn't let him stay. He said, "Hey man, there's a cave just down the way. Why don't you go live there, bro?" And that's what it'd be. Let's do one more pause for the cause, and I'm out of here, you see. Thanks for hanging out with me, guys. It has been a Waffle Mafia Wednesday. We did your podcast, did the thing. Be in for Thirsty Thursday tomorrow night for everybody that came. We'll see y'all tomorrow night, and, of course, you'll have your chance to up your chances as well. And somebody's going to take home a Stinkor, man. What the hell? It's going to be a good one. Got a couple other interesting surprises for you, too. And, beyond that, man, let's just keep doing what we do. Let's be the Waffle Mafia, man. Let's hang out. Let's all be friends, and we'll turn that wheel and do some spins. And, man, check out all the other Mafia pages, Lord Instruction Waffles. Make sure you go over and hang out with Johnny at Most Powerful Waffles, MPA, Masters of the Galaxy, man. Our good boy Brian Ozone over there and Johnny Mystery. They do that podcast every week on Monday. It's Masters of the Galaxy podcast. That sucker's just ramping up and growing and getting crazy. I appreciate that too, man, because used to be on that podcast and really just work's killed me, and that sucked. But, yeah, man, that's my luck. So, thanks for y'all hanging out with me. Thanks for your time. We'll see you tomorrow night, and we'll do some more rhymes. Love y'all. We'll talk to you later. Peace.